Okay, so I think it is well in order for a massive clap, yeah, for Tommy Robinson and his team for organizing an amazing, amazing event. Uh, it was a huge event. It was a very peaceful event. It was the event where people came together, uh, worried about the nation, worrying about the bad apples within the nation trying to corrode and divide us. That particular march, that event, was a real good pushback. It was a total awakening. Now, the background to that event, if we think about it, has been the hotel protests in Epping and other places, other towns around the UK. Yep. And, really showing the government that, people are fed up. People aren't being pushed around anymore. We had the Raise the Flag campaign, which has been a really, really good campaign for really sort of like stating this is your turf, this is our turf, this is where we belong, this is our country. We have had a situation where people have been flying a foreign flag up and down the cities in this country for over a year and forcing the residents to wonder, A, why they're showing this flag, and B, the actual police condemning and sort of arresting people for showing our nation's flag. This is not acceptable at all. God knows how that even happened and the thinking behind it. But when the police are so poisoned in their minds that they cannot see anything wrong in arresting people for waving the nation's flag, we have gone beyond the pale, in my opinion. In the past, as I mentioned before, if you saw a group of people, a large group of people, waving the Union Jack, for example, and when I say in the past, we're talking about a very small past. We're talking about the late 70s. Yeah, late 70s, early 80s. It's no more than 2 years when the National Front sort of took over our emblems and tried to use it to try and galvanize very racist ideas. And there was two ironies there, okay? Because they did it at a time when there was a ska revival. And so you got the bands like Special, UB40, Selector, yeah, mixed race bands who were extremely popular and everyone was dancing to that tune. Yeah, and black and white were united. Back then, just before I was in the army, I was in the Rock Against Racism movement and the Anti-Nazi League fighting against the National Front. Yeah, they are enemy. They are far right. Okay, crowd what we saw over the weekend, not at all, not at all. These are British, English, Welsh, Irish, Scottish people. Yeah, good heart. I saw one flag from Britain first. One flag. Yeah. Totally wholly isolated. The voice not welcome. Okay. The problem is, and the problem has been, yeah, and the media, I don't know why they do it, and obviously it's a collective consensus that they do it, is consistently calling uh, people calling us far right. Yeah. Far right. Yeah. The mainstream media are like this. I'm not listening to what you have to say. Yeah. Yeah. And this has been the problem. It's a problem from the left. Yeah. The left won't listen to what the concerns are, and they're coming up with all sorts of stuff. Um, they sort of alienate the working class by calling them fascists and Nazis. Yeah. Mainstream media do it. They're sort of backing away a bit now because they've actually gone inside and seen for themselves who's been attending. And, you know, uh, calling people Nazis and fascists, I don't think they understand the pushback. We have a saying, my mum, Jamaican, We have the saying in Jamaica, what you cannot hear, you will feel. Yeah. And one of the problems is that when you go around telling people that they are racist when clearly they are not, or that they are fascists, people forget that a lot of these people, grandfathers, fought in the Second World War against the Nazis, against the fascists. And when they've come home, they've told their children and their grandchildren the stories and the heroism, what they've done in defeating the Nazis and the fascists. So people lazily labeling good, hard-working, honest people, Nazis and fascists, is insult to injury. That's what it is. It's just insult to injury. Okay. And you marginalize, not, no, you don't marginalize, you alienate, you disenfranchise. And that pushback, that awakening is what you saw on Saturday. Okay. On Saturday. Another thing which sort of springs to my mind in regards to the lies is the this idea that there was like 100 or maybe 150,000 people in attendance. Yeah, okay. Obviously, there are lies, damn lies, and there are statistics, and it's quite concerning to see the lies which the mainstream media are saying in regards to the attendance. But what they don't realize is that, let's say there's 1 million people who attended that march. So 1 million people will see that misreporting that only 100,000 people attended. Yeah. So 1 million people know immediately that that was a pure lie. And that 1 million people will tell about 3 or 4 other people who weren't in attendance. Oh, yeah, I was there. And it was a lot more than that. So now you've got 5 million people who are actually knowing the truth. Yeah. So now the media being fact checked and known to be lies. If they're lying about the numbers, what else are they lying about? Yeah. What else are they lying about? Now, I can't say. I mean, I'd say that I emphasize with Tommy Robinson, and I find myself having to defend Tommy Robinson a lot, mainly because a lot of people I know, they are on the sidelines. They hear things about the media, as Machiavelli would say. They see many people see, but few feel and touch, and so they don't really get in or dig into exactly what's going on with Tommy Robinson. So they've got busy lives. They see the headlines, they take it as fact. Oh yeah, he's a racist, this and da 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 da. But when you say, have you seen Tommy Robinson's Oxford Union's address? Have you seen Tommy Robinson's documentary Panodrama? Have you seen Tommy Robinson's Silence, where he got, which got him sort of locked up? Have you seen any of that media or those programs? A lot they have not. They haven't. Or even Jeremy Paxton's interview with Tommy Robinson right at the very beginning. They haven't seen it. They haven't gone to the source. When I was on the march, a friend of mine works actually in Parliament, funny enough, was asking me, oh yeah, Prince, Peter, what do you think about all this? I'm sure you've got a take on it. I said, I'm actually there. I'm in the crowd. I can tell you right now, it's a great, joyous crowd. I'm not going to bore people to say, oh yeah, there was no racism in the crowd, because you know what? I felt there was, it, I, safe. I couldn't have felt more safer walking the streets with the crowd which I was with that day. Yeah, it's probably the safest London has been for a while. Not that I feel unsafe, walking around London generally, but generally speaking, I didn't feel any idea of being intimidated, threatened, or that just wasn't the part. That wasn't the issue whatsoever. Okay, and I think that you need more people like myself. You've got the chap on the Urban Scoop, whatever it is. I don't know his name. Every time he's doing the reporting, it sounds like he's going on a sort of like a sound hall system, a dance hall sort of stuff. He's quite a funny guy. That Shady Shay, he's a great chap. Yeah. And there's another lady, I can't remember her name, who talks. I'm talking about people who are like African, Caribbean sort of thing, because there needs to be even more people, because I think there are a lot of people that on the side, standing on the side, they don't really know what it's about. Yeah, and I think that when more people get to know and understand, this is a movement which is like it's just growing, growing, growing. So what we have is an awakening, yeah, a total awakening. I feel that what's going to happen if this continues is that two elements really. Number one, as we see, the mainstream media has and is losing their influence over the population. Yeah. Gone are the days where you'd go to school or you'll go to work and say, "Did you see that program last night about A, B, and C?" Because, there are so many different media outlets. Me, myself, I love Korean drama. Yeah. But I get most of my news now from social media. That is the stuff. Now, the algorithm at the moment in the social media over the last few weeks has been talking about civil unrest and civil war. That's not the case. And unfortunately, that algorithm is something which people like jump on like a snake to try and get their likes and subscribes. You can do that now, by the way. And they will sort of push that sort of narrative. But, Britain isn't close to a civil war, in my opinion, or a revolution. Okay. It's not as organized as that. But here's the big but. Okay. What is going to be happening is that more people are being awakened. And when it comes to the election now, what with Labour, which has been going on in regards to the sacking of Angela Rayner and Rachel Reeves, her budget which is coming up, which the whole everybody's watching, the city's watching, the people are watching what's going to happen, and then the the resignation of senior ministers, and then Peter Mendelsohn sort of like going out with, literally sort of in bed with Epstein. Yeah. It's, we're not even talking about the Ukrainian rent boys, so to speak, in regards to Starmer, because that's been buried under house hatchet. Back in the day, the Profumo affair, yeah, that toppled the government. Here we've got a prime minister who's like dodgy sort of connections with Ukrainian rent boys, and it's not even being discussed. He doesn't even feel that his job is under threat. Yeah. But I feel that what we're going to see more in the future is a coalition government, and that's going to be very interesting. The right, as you know, is one of the Tory guys has defected to Reform. Wrong party, I'm afraid. I don't think Reform realizes that those people who were there on Saturday, those were the supporters who were backing you. And then you've turned your back on Tommy Robinson because you're petit bourgeois, yeah, and really you're no better than this centralist Labour government or the Conservatives who've been screwing up, yeah, and it's I don't think Reform are going to be as doing as great as what they think they're going to be doing. You Advance UK, it's early days yet, it's hard to say, but ultimately it fragments the right. Conservatives have lost their way. Badenoch's been given a poison chalice. She had a chance actually. She could have gone a little bit more towards the Tommy Robinson. She did sort of actually sort of keep her cards close to her chest at one point when she was asked about Tommy Robinson. She should have been bold. She's a leader. She should have been bold and embraced Tommy Robinson and should have had more dialogue with Tommy Robinson. Because although there's little chatter and castle on the right, they do not have the influence as the broad masses of the people. And most of those people who I saw on the Saturday were, I'd say literally 50% former Labour supporters, probably more. Old traditional Labour, working class. Yeah. Um, so yeah, it's just a massive big clap, yeah, for the organisation, because I can just imagine just the amount of detail what went into that and organising that, and it's really total props up, and it's sort of turned the narrative around. Interesting to see what the next thing would be. It would be, obviously there needs to be one before the May elections or by-elections next year, yeah, just to really put a bit of coal under the fire. But that's what I have to say about it now. If you like what I had to say, please, as I say, like and subscribe and follow my journey. I'm not always talking about this subject, but I was present, as you can see, and I just want to address it too, because I think it's a bit of a historic event. I was there, sort of thing.